What are taters, precious? Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, put them in a stew. Hello and welcome back to Misty Mountain Homestead. Today we are going to be showing you how we've planted potatoes in the past and what we're doing differently this year to increase our harvest. This is our third year planting potatoes, and every year we've used a different method. Our first year we planted potatoes in a semi-shady spot in hard soil that didn't drain well, and our harvest was small, rightly so. We didn't realize that potatoes need well-drained, loose soil to grow. The next year, we studied different methods for planting potatoes and learned that the store isn't always the best place to get potatoes for your garden. So we bought seed potatoes from a local feed company and decided to use the lazy bed method for planting. We loosened the dirt, mixed in compost, mounded it up into a small hill. We then planted the potatoes with their eyes and fingers towards the sun and added some straw to keep the soil moist. Our yield for the 2021 garden season was better than the previous year, but still disappointing. As previously shown, most of the potatoes were small, and unfortunately, the skin fell off easily while we were harvesting. For the 2022 garden season, we wanted a larger harvest. So we decided to use the raised bed method for all of our root veggies. We built this massive 24-foot long, 4-foot wide, 30-inch deep raised bed and used the hugelkultur method to fill it. If you aren't familiar with hugelkultur, be sure to check out our first YouTube video for a quick tutorial. Our Rural King tractor and grapple were invaluable for filling these beds. Without this tool, it probably would have taken us days, maybe even weeks, to gather all the sticks, logs, branches, leaves, and soil needed to fill this bed. Sometimes things are not always readily available, and while filling this bed, we realized that we didn't have enough leaves to put in. So we opted to use some fill dirt from our land and property. For the final layer in the raised beds, we needed to add some compost. And while we are working to build our compost system here on the homestead, we both decided that this job was just too large to provide all of our composting needs. So we went to our local landscape supplier for some moo poo. If you plan to plant your own potatoes, be aware that 1 to 2 days prior to putting your potatoes into the ground, you need to chit your potatoes. This is when you take the potatoes and cut them to the size of golf balls so that you increase the number of seed potatoes you have. Be sure that each seed potato section has an eye and that it is allowed to heal and form a protective layer over the cut surface. If you find you have a potato smaller than an egg, it should be planted whole. To plant our potatoes in the raised bed, we decided trenches. Since our raised bed is 4 feet wide, we're going to do 3 trenches approximately 15 inches apart. We're using string here to ensure that our trenches are dug straight. Each trench is going to be 4 to 5 inches wide and about 4 to 5 inches deep, tapering down into the shape of a V. But did you know that soil can make you happy? Dirt contains Mycobacterium vaccae and may stimulate serotonin production, which makes you relaxed and happier. To dig our trenches, David used a V-shaped garden hoe and I used my hands. We also went back through and made sure that a lot of the larger clumps were broken up. With our trenches dug, we then took our seed potatoes, smaller potatoes that we had saved from last year, and planted them into the ground. We kept them in the cellar over the winter, and as you can see, some of them grew some really long fingers. We're going to plant these seed potatoes every 8 to 12 inches and then cover it with soil. And because we have these long fingers, we don't know if it's going to work or not. So, in a few weeks, if we don't have plants, we'll simply dig them up and put new seed potatoes into the ground. Once all of our seed potatoes are in the ground, we're going to hurry up and wait for those sprouts to appear. This usually happens 12 to 16 days after planting. Once the sprouts have popped up, we'll then cover them with an additional 3 to 4 inches of soil, leaving only a few inches of the plant exposed. To help keep the soil moist, we plan to add a light layer of mulch. If you guys have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave them below. And be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you can follow us on our homesteading journey. And if you can tell me what movie I referenced in the beginning of this video, leave that in the comments below too. Thanks for watching!